Now, if you were in the group of runners who thought there wasn't enough difference in the ride performance between the HOKA Mach 5 and the Mach X, then the changes that we've seen to the latest generations of the HOKA Mach 6 and the Mach X2 might be just what you were after. There's now much more distinction between these two shoes than we saw with the previous two generations, and much of that difference is now in the midsole. The HOKA Mach 6 midsole now packs a single layer of rockered supercritical EVA that creates a more responsive ride, while the Mach X2 has a 3-part dual foam midsole, and what you're getting here is a thick layer of PEBA foam sitting on top of a new winged plate with a layer of supercritical EVA underneath that. Now, the Mach X2 geometry now somewhat echoes the Racer Cielo X shoe that we saw from HOKA. It's got a bigger stack and a more aggressive early stage meta rocker for snappier toe-offs and a springier, punchier, pacier ride. HOKA has made two good, versatile daily trainers here, and while there's still crossover between these two shoes and the types of run that the Mach 6 and the Mach X2 cater for, there's also quite a clear difference in what they do best. The Mach 6 is better for your slower range miles, but has a snappy, lightweight response that can cope with up-tempo runs as well. The Mach X2 is undoubtedly built for speed and excels at shorter, faster efforts. Now, I'd argue that the Mach X2 is as lively as some of the older generation carbon race shoes that we saw, and that gives it fast training and all-out racing credentials. However, unless you get on with the snug race fit, I'd argue there's a half-marathon sweet spot, more down to the comfort though than the ride. The big midsole that you've got here does offer protection too, which is good for long hauling, but the tight fit might not be so accommodating. With the past generations of these shoes, the choice was definitely an either-or, but now there's arguably room in a rotation for the Mach 6 and the Mach X2. If I had to choose one shoe out of these two, I would say the Mach X2 shades it. It's one of the best shoes I've tested this year and definitely puts the Super into Super Trainer.